Ever feel like just disappearing? Well, one man actually did it. On the afternoon before Thanksgiving in 1971, a quiet, middle-aged man in a dark business suit walked up to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter in Portland, Oregon. He bought a one-way ticket to Seattle. The name on the ticket, Ian Cooper. History would later misremember him as D.B. Cooper, and this man was about to jump straight into legend. He boarded Flight 305, took his seat, 1HC, lit a cigarette, and ordered a bourbon and soda. He looked like any other businessman on his way home for the holiday. Nothing about him screamed hijacker. But as the Boeing 727 climbed into the sky, Cooper handed a note to a flight attendant named Florence Schaffner. She, thinking it was just a lonely businessman's phone number, slipped it into her pocket without looking. Cooper leaned closer. "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Florence's blood ran cold. She retrieved the note. In neat, all-caps handwriting, it detailed his demands. He calmly opened his briefcase, revealing a terrifying mess of wires, red sticks, and a battery. Whether it was real or fake didn't matter. The threat was credible. He wanted $200,000 in marked $20 bills, for parachutes to primary and to reserve, and a fuel truck ready to go when they landed in Seattle. He was polite, calm, and oddly considerate throughout the entire ordeal. He even insisted on paying for his drink. The authorities on the ground scrambled. This was uncharted territory. The FBI worked to gather the money and the parachutes. Meanwhile, Flight 305 circled Puget Sound for nearly 2 hours, burning off fuel to ensure a safe landing. On board, the passengers had no idea what was happening. They just thought there was a minor mechanical issue. Cooper remained a perfect gentleman, chatting with the flight crew, even offering them some of the ransom money. When the plane finally landed in Seattle, his demands were met. The cash, weighing about 21 pounds, and the 4 parachutes were brought aboard. In exchange, Cooper released all 36 passengers, and to flight attendants, he kept the pilot, co-pilot, a flight engineer, and 1 flight attendant on board. After refueling, Cooper laid out his final, bizarre instruction, a new flight path. He wanted the plane to fly towards Mexico City, but at a specific, dangerously low altitude of 10,000 feet, with the landing gear down and the wing flaps at 15 degrees. This would keep the plane's speed at a sluggish 200 miles per hour. And one more thing. He wanted the rear air stair, the staircase at the back of the 727, to remain unlocked and lowered after takeoff. The crew warned him it was unsafe, that the cabin would depressurize. Cooper didn't care. As Flight 305 took off again, heading into a stormy, pitch-black night, he told the remaining crew to go to the cockpit and stay there. That was the last they ever saw of him. Around 8:13 p.m., somewhere between Seattle and Reno, a warning light flashed in the cockpit. It indicated that the aft air stair had been opened. The plane experienced a sudden change in air pressure. D.B. Cooper, with $200,000 strapped to his body, had leaped from the back of a commercial airliner into a freezing, wind-whipped rainstorm over the dense and forgiving wilderness of southwestern Washington. He was never seen again. What followed was one of the largest and longest manhunts in American history. The FBI, local police, and even the military scoured the rugged terrain. They searched for a body, a parachute, or any trace of the money. They found nothing. It was as if the man had literally vanished into thin air. 4 years, the case remained ice cold. Was he a seasoned paratrooper, an ex-military operative with nerves of steel, or just a desperate amateur who got incredibly lucky or incredibly unlucky? The conditions for the jump were suicidal. A nighttime jump into a thunderstorm with 200-mile-per-hour winds, dressed in a business suit and loafers, into a forest of towering trees. Survival seemed impossible. Most experts believed he was killed on impact or died of exposure shortly after. But the legend of D.B. Cooper, the gentleman skyjacker who beat the system, only grew. He became a folk hero, a symbol of rebellion against the establishment. Tips poured into the FBI for decades. Hundreds of suspects were investigated: veterans, criminals, mechanics, thrill seekers. None of them could be definitively linked to the crime. Then, in 1980, a breakthrough. A young boy named Brian Ingram was digging a fire pit on a sandy beach along the Columbia River. He uncovered 3 decaying bundles of cash. When the FBI examined the bills, they got a jolt. The serial numbers matched the ransom money given to Cooper. But this discovery only deepened the mystery. The money was found miles from the projected jump zone. How did it get there? Did Cooper lose some of it during his descent? Or did he bury it, planning to come back later, and perish before he could? And where was the other $194,000? Despite this one piece of physical evidence, the trail went cold again. No other part of the money, the parachute, or Cooper's briefcase was ever recovered. Over the years, fascinating and sometimes bizarre theories emerged. Some claimed he was a former Boeing employee who knew the 727 inside and out. Others suggested he was a Canadian prankster or even a woman in disguise. Every few years, a new book or documentary would claim to have solved the case, pointing a finger at a new suspect. Yet, none of the evidence was ever conclusive. In 2016, after 45 years of dead ends, the FBI officially closed the active investigation. They concluded that they had exhausted all credible leads. But closing the case didn't solve the mystery. It just cemented its status as the only unsolved skyjacking in American history. D.B. Cooper became a ghost, a phantom who pulled off the perfect crime and simply ceased to exist. So what do you think happened? Did he survive the jump and live out his days in quiet anonymity, occasionally smiling when he heard his alias on the news? Or was he swallowed by the vast, dark wilderness, his bones lying undiscovered to this day? Perhaps the truth is we'll never know. And maybe that's the most captivating part of the story. The man in the dark suit stepped off a plane and into the night. And in a way, he's still falling, suspended forever in the realm of pure mystery. Thanks for watching. If you're fascinated by mysteries like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the unknown. See you next time.